That's right, the latest offering from ThiEYE, the T5 EDGE, coming right up. Well, hello everybody, we're going to look at the latest from ThiEYE, the T5 EDGE native 4K, and it's also voice control, which is kind of cool. It comes with a remote control that will also act as a voice control, 170 degree wide angle lens, 2-inch screen on the back. Now it's native 4K, but the thing that was really interesting about this camera that I was very excited about is that it offers electronic image stabilization at 4K, 30 frames a second. Not too shabby. The chipset on it is the iCatch V50, and the Panasonic 34112 is going to be the image sensor for this camera. But let's take a look inside the box. All right, now we're gonna look inside the box, and if you look at the box, it kind of looks a little GoPro-esque the way that it's displayed. But I will say that it's very nicely constructed as far as the way that the camera was installed inside the casing there. Once you take out the camera, it's got a waterproof shell that is supposed to be good for 60 meters, and also a 360 degree base clamp. Comes with your basic instructions. Got the camera, the waterproof case, the remote, extra batteries, sticky pads, mounts, charging cable, battery, cloth, and a nice little bag. And the battery is an 1100 milliampere hour battery. Now, if you ask me, I'm really kind of digging the orange on the side there. You've got your HDMI, USB, your micro SD slot, power on-off button, your toggle switches for the menu, 2-inch screen, battery holder, and it's not that little thumbnail, it is actually a spring-loaded door, which I really like. And on top of that, a nice 1/4-20 screw inlet. It's built very nicely, I mean, I will say. And if you look at the lens does not protrude like the T5E did, so that could be a plus. But like always, you know, the most important part is video quality, so let's take it out and see what the video footage looks like. Well, it's time to test out the ThiEYE T5 EDGE, and what a better place to take it than to the duck park. So let's go there right now. Alright, right now I'm shooting at 1080 at 60 frames a second, and I have the Electronic Image Stabilization on as I'm just walking. Just want to give you an example of what 1080p at 60 looks like, because it is probably one of the most popular modes, video modes, that people shoot in. And once again, just do a little walk here. From the back of the screen, the stabilization looks very nice. And now 2.7K with the stabilization on. Alright, recording 4K, 30 frames a second, with the image stabilization off. Walking down the little trail here. And now again, 4K, 30 frames a second, with the electronic image stabilization on. This is just handheld. What I see on the back of the screen looks very promising, nice and smooth. Like I said, it's very cold in Texas today. 38 degrees right now, and got a little wind chill going. Feels like it's 28 degrees. I'm really not dressed for it, but I wanted to get some outdoor footage just because it's nice and sunny right now. So if it's sunny, I want to take advantage of it rather than it being cold and dreary. Alright, right now shooting 4K, 30 frames per second, using the ThiEYE G4 QD gimbal, just because I know that when image stabilization is turned on, it usually crops the image a little bit. So I want to be able to get the full image, even though this is a 170-degree wide-angle lens on it. Also, it does offer distortion correction, but when you turn distortion correction on, it will turn off the gyro or the stabilization. So we're doing audio test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Speaking in a normal tone voice just to see how the camera picks up my audio. Well, now to go back to the house and upload the footage and see how it looks. So, time to go home. So now I'm back home. Let's do a low light test. Alright, 1080p, 60 frames a second, low light off. And 1080, 60 frames a second, auto low light on. See how much noise is in the footage. And now let's take a look at a couple of photos I shot in photo mode, 14 megapixel. Alright, the last test is going to be of the remote control, nice little wrist strap remote control. Once you turn it on and it's paired, you can push this button, take a photo, and you see it just took a photo. I can hit video, and it's now recording video. I'm going to stop that. Now I'm going to try the voice command. Action, start video. It's recording. Action, stop shooting. Action, stop shooting. Action, stop video. Action, stop shooting. Oh, that part didn't work. Let's see if the photo part works. Action, photo. Maybe I need to get it closer to my mouth. Action, photo. Okay, so I guess the wristband needs to be closer to your mouth. Action, start video. Okay, it's recording again. Action, stop shooting. And it stopped. And let's try camera, turn off. Camera, turn off. And it turned off. Gonna have to yell a little bit loud, but it actually works. So what are my final thoughts on the ThiEYE T5 EDGE 4K action camera? You know, I like it. I think the image quality is very, very nice. I think that having a camera that has image stabilization at 4K is also a big plus. I think the build quality is very nice. Like I said, the image quality, considering it's the first time I've used a camera with the iCatch V50 chipset and with this Panasonic sensor, and I was very impressed with it. Now, there are a couple things about this camera that need a little bit of tweaking, and I guess we can get into that right now as far as pros and cons. Okay, so talking about the pros of this camera, I like the chipset. It seems to capture native 4K and the colors very accurately, along with the image sensor, this Panasonic. I like the build quality of the camera. I like the fact that it has a 2-inch screen on the back. I like the fact that it has a battery drawer on the bottom instead of the little thumbnail drawer. I like the fact that it has a 1/4-20 screw. I like the fact that it came with a remote control, little wrist strap remote control. You know, it does have image stabilization at 4K, and that is also a nice thing to have as far as a pro for this camera. And now it's time to talk about some of the cons about this camera. First and foremost con, in my opinion, the one that needs the most addressing, is the audio quality of the microphone. Now, I'm pretty sure that this can be addressed in a firmware issue, but the audio volume is so low and so tinny. And I understand that this is the smaller brother, I guess, to the ThiEYE T5E, which I love. I think the audio is great out of that camera, so I know that it's just a matter of tweaking the firmware, and I know that ThiEYE is very good about updating their firmwares very often. But that's going to be my number one con, and probably the most important one, is that the audio with the microphone is just horrible. My second con is going to be the remote control, just for the fact of you've got to really yell, like you saw earlier, really loud to be able to get the remote control to recognize the commands and to react. When you push the buttons, they seem to react right off the bat. So, you know, it's probably best just to use the remote control with the push button feature being able to take a photo or video. But then again, you know, that could be something that's firmware related and they can tweak that. And the next con, and it's hard to give it a really low mark, but when it's 4K and they're using the Electronic Image Stabilization, the stabilization is not fantastic on it. It's good, and it's much better than not having any stabilization at all. It does crop in the image a little bit, but that's to be expected whenever you're using image stabilization. But it seemed a little on the jerky side, the stabilization, where it wasn't a smooth rotation. It was kind of jump. But then again, you know, those are three of the little pet peeves that I had about this camera. You know, this camera retails for $149. Do I think that it's worth it in the action camera market where we're at today in 2018? Yes, I do. And I say that with great optimism because I think that a simple firmware tweak from ThiEYE will take care of the audio mic issue, they can probably smooth out the image stabilization a little bit more. They could probably get the remote control to be a little bit more sensitive. But you know, I know that's only firmware stuff, and firmware can easily be addressed. But when you go about the body of the camera and the basic functionality of the camera and the image quality, I think it's very, very good. When you look at the still images, they look very nice to me. So I think it's a very good all-around camera in my opinion. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below for you to check it out yourself. It is the ThiEYE T5 EDGE from ThiEYE Company. I like it. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and be sure to share it. And also, if you have a question, comment below because I respond to all comments. And if you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe today and click on the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a video.